Grease Lightning.
Get some overhead lifters and 4-barrel quads, oh yeah.
It has been 48 years since Grease hit theaters on June 16, 1978. It made $394 million worldwide.
The premiere, it was great. It was just like a fantasy because
Became the highest-grossing musical film of its era and turned its cast into legends overnight.
Magical times for everybody, because everyone was coming up. This was my first really big movie.
But one of them fought cancer 3 times over 30 years before losing. One carried the film's most iconic number after stealing it from his best friend, and that friend never forgave him. One was 33 years old, playing a high school teenager, and had to pass a wrinkle test just to get the role. And 2 of the T-Birds are gone, both destroyed by the same addiction that started on the same set where they made America Dance.
Being in the show and knowing about the show, and of course being able to dance, which people love to see him do.
John Travolta as Danny Zuko. John Travolta was born on February 18, 1954 in Englewood, New Jersey. The youngest of 6 children, every one of his siblings became an actor. He dropped out of high school at 16, moved to New York, and started auditioning. He was cast as Vinnie Barbarino on Welcome Back, Kotter in 1975, and then filmed Saturday Night Fever in 1977, before Grease even wrapped. He was already a star before the movie came out. What nobody knew was that he was also quietly grieving. His girlfriend Diana Hyland died of breast cancer in March 1977 while Grease was still in production. He was 23 years old. He kept showing up to set and kept dancing. He was 23 years old when he became Danny Zuko, the leather-jacketed, hip-swiveling cool kid who loved a girl but couldn't admit it in front of his friends. The role required him to be 2 people simultaneously, the Danny who sang Summer Nights with genuine tenderness,
Summer dreams.
and the Danny who denied Sandy existed 5 minutes later. Travolta played both without letting either one feel like performance. Here is the detail most people don't know. Greased Lightning was originally Kenicki's number, written for the character, rehearsed by Jeff Conaway, his co-star and close friend. Travolta wanted it. He had the clout to take it. He took it. Conaway never fully recovered from losing it, and the resentment between them quietly poisoned one of the film's closest friendships. Travolta acknowledged it plainly years later. He wanted the number, so he got it. After Grease, the losses kept coming. His son Jet died at 16 from a seizure in 2009. His wife Kelly Preston died of breast cancer in 2020 after a private 2-year battle. He has buried a girlfriend, a son, and a wife. In 2022, he buried Olivia Newton-John. Today, in 2026, John Travolta is 72 years old with an estimated net worth of $250 million. He is the last Danny Zuko. Sandy is gone. He carries that film alone now. Olivia Newton-John as Sandy Olsen. Olivia Newton-John was born on September 26, 1948 in Cambridge, England. Her mother was the daughter of Nobel Prize-winning physicist Max Born. Her father was a British intelligence officer who later became a university professor. She moved to Melbourne, Australia at age 5 and was singing in clubs and on television by 14. By the time Grease came calling, she had already won 4 Grammy Awards and placed 14 songs in the US Top 10.
To my heart, I must be true.
She was not a newcomer. She was a global star being asked to play a high school student. She was 28 during filming and turned 29 before it wrapped. She knew it. She was so uncertain about whether she was too old for the role that she demanded a screen test with Travolta before she would commit. Producer Alan Carr agreed. She met Travolta at Helen Reddy's house. They ran some scenes together, and she said yes. She also negotiated the right to rewrite her character, changing Sandy from an American to an Australian so she wouldn't have to fake an accent. That one practical decision made Sandy feel more real than the character on the original stage had ever been. She fought the producer for the ending too. The original Sandy was passive, following Danny wherever he led. Newton-John pushed for a Sandy who made her own choice, who walked onto that carnival stage having decided for herself who she wanted to be. The leather outfit, the transformation, the moment the whole film builds toward, that was her instinct, not the script's original plan. In 1992, her father died of liver cancer. That same weekend, she was diagnosed with breast cancer for the first time. She had a partial mastectomy, went through chemotherapy, and went into remission. It came back in 2013. It came back again in 2017, this time metastatic, spread to her spine. She spent her final years advocating for plant medicine and cancer research, opening the Olivia Newton-John Cancer Wellness and Research Center in Melbourne. Her leather jacket from the film sold at auction for $243,000. The buyer returned it to her, said it shouldn't sit in a billionaire's closet. Olivia Newton-John died on August 8th. 2022, at her ranch in California. She was 73. She fought the disease for 30 years, longer than most people knew. Sandy got her happy ending. Olivia earned hers differently. Stockard Channing as Betty Rizzo. Stockard Channing was born Susan Antonia Williams Stockard on February 13, 1944, in Manhattan, New York. She grew up on the Upper East Side, attended a boarding school in Virginia, and graduated from Radcliffe College at Harvard University summa cum laude in 1965 with a degree in history and literature. She was, by every measure of background and education, the least likely person on earth to play Betty Rizzo. She was 33 years old when she auditioned.
To see it through, that's a thing I'd never do.
The director, Randall Kleiser, was so worried about casting actors who looked too old that he developed what he called a crow's feet test, examining each candidate up close for wrinkles around their eyes. Channing passed, but everyone in the room knew she was wrong for the part on paper. She was well-spoken, privately educated, Irish Catholic from the Upper East Side. Rizzo was a working-class Puerto Rican girl from a very different New York. The producers nearly didn't cast her. Then she opened her mouth and the room went quiet. The role almost came without its most important scene. Producer Alan Carr wanted to cut There Are Worse Things I Could Do, called it a downer, said the film didn't need it. Channing argued that without the song, Rizzo was only surface, that without it, the audience would never understand what was actually inside this person. She won the argument. That song is now the reason Rizzo outlasted every other pink lady in the cultural memory.
I could do.
After Grease, she built one of the most decorated careers in American stage and screen, an Academy Award nomination for 6 Degrees of Separation, a Tony Award for A Day in the Death of Joe Egg, 3 Emmy Awards, 2 of them for The West Wing, where she played First Lady Abby Bartlett across 7 seasons. Today, in 2026, Stockard Channing is 82 years old. She was considered too old to play a teenager. She became the character everyone remembers most. Jeff Conaway as Kenickie. Jeff Conaway was born on October 5, 1950 in Manhattan, New York. He started acting on Broadway at age 10. By his early 20s, he was one of the most promising young stage actors in New York City. He was cast as Danny Zuko in the original Broadway production of Grease. The lead, the role, the one that defined the show. He played it for 2.5 years. Then the film came along. His manager at the time also managed John Travolta. When it came time to cast the movie, Travolta got Danny, Conaway got Kenickie, Danny's best friend, the second T-Bird, the loyal one.
The problem's in your mouth. Yeah. So where are you gonna get a new carburetor, huh? You ever hear of borrowing? Nicky, you got it.
He said yes. What choice did he have? He showed up and he did the work, and he was excellent in the role. Then, during the filming of the Greased Lightnin' number, he was accidentally dropped by another cast member and hurt his back. He was given painkillers for the pain. He never stopped taking them. The movie that should have been the biggest moment of his career was also the moment his addiction began. He went on to star in Taxi alongside Danny DeVito, Tony Danza, and Andy Kaufman, earning 2 Golden Globe nominations. It should have been the launch of a long career. Instead, by the mid-1980s, the addiction had taken hold completely. He went to rehab. He relapsed. He appeared on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew in 2008, which revealed the full extent of what his life had become. He fell down a staircase in 2010, fracturing his neck, breaking his hip, and causing a brain hemorrhage. He never fully recovered. There is one more detail the record needs to include. Jeff Conaway was once married to Rona Newton-John, Olivia's older sister, his Grease co-star's sister. They divorced in 1985. Their connection to that film never ended. On May 11, 2011, he was found unconscious at home. His family removed life support on May 26th. He died the following morning. He was 60 years old. He was Danny Zuko on Broadway. He became Kenickie on film. He never got to be anything else. Didi Conn as Frenchie. Didi Conn was born Edith Bernstein on July 13, 1951 in Brooklyn, New York. She was working in small television and theater roles through the mid-1970s.
Beauty school dropout, no graduation day.
When the call came for Grease, her agents told her the director wanted her for Frenchie. No script was sent. All she knew was that the character was a beauty school dropout. She found a salon in Los Angeles called Frenchie's, walked in, asked the woman behind the counter to give her the biggest hair she could manage, and showed up to the audition looking exactly like the character. She got the role before anyone had explained what the role actually was. She was 26 years old when she became Frenchie, Sandy's first real friend at Rydell High, the pink lady with the pink hair and the beauty school dreams, the one who dropped out because she couldn't stand the sight of blood, the character who receives a direct message from a teen angel telling her to go back to school. The most optimistic character in the film, and also the one whose story the film treats most gently. Khan played her with a warmth so unforced, it never read as performance at all. She is one of only 2 cast members to return for Grease 2 in 1982, reprising Frenchie in the sequel. She also made a cameo in the 2016 Fox television special Grease Live. Frenchie is the character she has never fully left behind, and by her own account, she has never wanted to. Off-screen, her life took a turn that reshaped everything. Her son Daniel was diagnosed with autism. She became one of the most active celebrity advocates for autism awareness in America, named spokesperson for Autism Speaks in 2008. She has spoken about her son's diagnosis with the same warmth she brought to every Frenchie scene, openly, without performance, with complete commitment. Today in 2026, Didi Khan is 74 years old. She arrived at the audition having already become the character. Some people are just built for certain roles. Barry Pearl as Duty. Barry Pearl was born on September 20th, 1950 in New York City. He grew up performing, trained in theater, and built a steady career of stage and television work through the 1970s before landing the role of Duty, the T-Bird with the guitar, the goofball.
Rock and roll is here to stay. It will never die. It was
the one who played background while Travolta and Conaway handled the foreground. He was 27 years old when the film shot, one of the few cast members actually close to the age of the character he was playing. Here's the detail about Duty that the film never explains and most viewers never know. Duty was originally the singing lead of Those Magic Changes in the stage musical, a full solo number built around his character. It was cut from the film entirely. The character, who was defined by his music on stage, had his music removed before the cameras rolled. Pearl showed up anyway, made the most of what remained, and delivered exactly what the film needed from the T-Birds: presence, loyalty, comic energy, and the ability to make Travolta look like the star without disappearing from the frame. After Grease, he built a long and steady career in television. Beverly Hills, 90210, Baywatch, Criminal Minds, House, the kind of working actor's resume that doesn't make headlines but keeps the industry running. He appeared in Grease Live in 2016 as Mr. Weaver, returning to Rydell High nearly 4 decades after he left it. He has directed and produced as well as acted. He teaches. He stays connected to the work with the consistency of someone who never mistook a single film for a whole career. Today in 2026, Barry Pearl is 75 years old. He played the T-Bird whose biggest moment was cut before filming began. He showed up anyway. That is what working actors do. Michael Tucci as Sonny. Michael Tucci was born on April 15, 1946 in New York City. He was a trained stage actor who had been working steadily through the 1970s when Grease came along. He was 31 years old when he was cast as Sonny Lettieri, the T-Bird who talked the most. Delivered the film's sharpest comic lines, and provided the motor-mouthed energy that kept every ensemble scene moving. Producer Alan Carr was so pleased with Tucci's audition that he walked him out of the room, handed him $100 in cash, and told him to take his parents to dinner at one of the best restaurants in Los Angeles. Tucci's mother looked across the room and saw Dean Martin and Don Rickles having dinner together. She nearly had a heart attack. That was the night Michael Tucci became a Grease cast member. He was fully aware of what the film did to careers. After it came out, he went to auditions and said he had been in Grease and watched the air go out of the room. Critics had dismissed the film as campy and overproduced. Nobody involved predicted it would become one of the most watched movies in the history of cinema. The typecast concern was real. Sonny was broad, loud, and funny, and for a period that was the only version of Michael Tucci that casting directors could see. He pushed through it. He appeared in Barney Miller, Night Court, Diagnosis Murder, alongside Dick Van Dyke, and in 2013 played Melissa McCarthy's father in The Heat. He also made a significant decision that most cast members didn't. He became a teacher. For years, he taught at St. Francis High School in California, bringing the craft he had spent decades developing to students who had no idea their drama teacher had once danced at Rydell High. Today, in 2026, Michael Tucci is 79 years old. He was handed $100 and told to celebrate. 50 years later, that is still the right response to what happened. Annette Charles as Cha-Cha Gregorio. Annette Charles was born Annette Cardona on February 16, 1948 in Los Angeles, California. She was a dancer and actress who had been building her career through the 1970s when she was cast as Cha-Cha Di Gregorio, the best dancer at St. Bernadette's. The girl who cuts in on Sandy at the dance-off, the one who nearly takes Danny away. The role was small in screen time and enormous in impact. Cha-Cha exists in the film for one extended sequence and uses every second of it. She doesn't just dance well, she dances like someone who has decided this moment belongs to her. After Grease, she continued working in television and film through the 1980s and 1990s, though she never again had a role that matched the visibility of Cha-Cha. She taught dance and acting. She remained connected to the performing arts community in Los Angeles and was remembered by those who worked with her as generous, precise, and completely committed to the craft. Annette Charles died on August 4, 2011 at her home in Los Angeles. She was 63 years old. The cause was brain cancer. She died 3 months after Jeff Conaway. 2 T-Bird and Pink Lady era cast members gone in the same summer, the same film, the same year, 3 months apart. Today, the role she played for one dance sequence is still the one moment in the film that non-dancers most clearly remember. She earned that in about 4 minutes of screen time. Very few actors ever do as much. Grease said that love was enough to change who you were. The cast received the full version of what life delivers. 2 are gone to addiction, 2 to cancer. 1 fought that cancer for 30 years before letting go. The rest kept working, kept teaching, kept showing up. The leather jacket sold for $243,000 and came back home. The music never stopped playing. That's the whole story.